You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good, because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar, because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
It is no secret that Hollywood can be a wild ride, and many actors have faced struggles with alcoholism and other addictions. Some of them even ruin themselves and their careers because of this, and we will be taking a look at those actors in this video. Want to know what happens when fame takes a dark turn? Or how do their careers and personal lives change? Stay tuned until the end to discover their stories, the challenges they've faced, and how they're doing now. Let's get started. Kicking off at number 20, we have Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay was a huge star back in the 2000s, starring in many rom-com movies. Her most famous one was the 2004 rom-com movie Mean Girls, in which she played the role of Katie Heron. So what exactly happened to this young superstar? Lindsay received a lot of media attention since her teenage years, particularly after a series of legal problems and arrests, which continued until 2013. She was said to have had a troublesome childhood with her parents divorcing in 2007, and she was caught up in the middle of all that drama.
Lovely choice of wine, by the way, Martin.
Thank you, sir.
May I have a sip?
I don't think you're going to like it.
Well, if you ask me, the bouquet's a little too robust for a Merlot. But then again, I'm partial to the softer California grape.
Lindsay's first struggle was being famous early on in her life. She became a symbol of young celebrities struggling with fame. She was very open about her battles with substance abuse, especially alcohol and drugs. But that's not all. In 2007, she was arrested for DUI, and everything became more evident as she was seen under the influence of alcohol in public several times. All of these didn't just affect her personal life, but took a hit on her professional career too. She went through a dry spell in her career during the 2010s because of legal problems, addiction, and a scandalous reputation. Thankfully, she bounced back and has been clean for quite a few years now. She even got married in 2022. See, you can always return to who you used to be, and Lindsay is an example.
Well, you look remarkably well. Now, you know, I have routinely made jokes about you and the activities, true and otherwise. You're aware of that, right?
I like that you say true and otherwise.
Yeah.
Not true and false.
Now, aren't you supposed to be in rehab now?
Do you not watch anything that goes on?
I do.
Tabloid now?
Now, here's what
May 2nd.
You don't. Yes or no? Do you steal stuff?
Do you?
When Charlie was off on his little trip, did you ever say to yourself, "Wow, this guy's nuts"?
I've gone through a lot in life, and I'm looking forward to actually just taking time for me. You can't make a joke of it.
That's so mean. I'm not joking.
No, you're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Maybe one or two?
No, this is my show now. It's just a happy environment.
We've been here doing this show about 30 years, and there's still people whose names I don't know. Thank you. Let's show them a clip of the film. This opens Friday. A scary movie. You have to be in rehab May 2nd. Are you going to be there? You'll be there, right? Who's taking you to rehab?
Number 19. Next up is Batman, also known as Ben Affleck. This Oscar-winning actor also struggled with addictions, and unlike some, he is trying to overcome this addiction. He has struggled with the long-time battle with alcohol use disorder and has been in and out of rehab 3 times. He first went to rehab in 2001, then again in 2017 and 2018. But the question is, where did he get this habit from? Well, people drink, but being an alcoholic is more than occasional drinking. Ben Affleck has been really open about his battles with addiction and depression. He mentioned that a lot of it comes from his family background, especially his dad's struggles with alcoholism. It really hurt him.
For me, seeing my dad was just, he was drunk every day, and that was just life. And as that got worse, that was really, really painful. And I always said, that'll never be me. I'm never going to do that. I wish he had been sober during those formative years, but what he's taught me is how important it is for me to be sober now during these formative years for my kids.
And he always thought he'd never go down that path himself, but that wasn't the case. It's sad how these things can affect us, even when we try to fight against them. Back in 2022, Ben was seen highly intoxicated during a Halloween party back in, and this really made the headlines. He continues to suffer from alcoholism as he continues to have an issue of slipping up now and again. I hope he overcomes this addiction.
How hard has that been to get sober? I mean, to stay sober. How difficult is it on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being like it's ridiculously hard. I'll
tell you the truth. It depends, right? At the beginning, it's very, very hard. It's 10. Okay? You start off because you're in the habit of doing this, whatever it is. And, compulsive behavior, it's like if you limit to alcohol or alcohol and drugs, it's a sort of certain segment of society. If you look at the people that overeat, eat their fucking feelings, and end up just as unhealthy, it's a lot more. If you look at people who shop and gamble or have sex or relationships or use the fucking phone, we're very programmed to seek out rewards and get compulsive about it, gamble, whatever. Nonetheless, it's fucking hard because you've taught yourself this is the only way to ease my pain. I'm in pain. This is the only way to make it better. And I used to go to meetings and hear all these like old timers say, I'm a grateful alcoholic and, the obsession left me a long time ago. And I would get so angry, I'd be like, fuck you, you're not grateful. What are you grateful for? You fucked your life up, you're grateful? Congratulations. Boy, I want some of that too. And the obsession left you, the fuck are you doing here? You don't want to drink? You're not an alcoholic, get the fuck out of here. I'm dealing with problems. I want to have a drink, how about that? You're just, and I resented that for a long time. And I went through a series of, I got sober for a year and a half. I wanted to be sober, I committed to it. And the problem with that fight is like, you can win 1,000 times, you only have to give in once.
Number 18. Next, we have Iron Man on drugs. Yes, we are talking about Robert Downey Jr. The Marvel hero is not just a genius, billionaire, playboy, and philanthropist. He was a serious alcohol and drug addict too. The whole world knows about Robert Downey Jr.'s struggles with drug and alcohol addiction, as they are well documented and have been a part of his public life. But do you know what the interesting and scary part is? He was addicted to drugs by the age of 12. He was just a small kid when drugs became a part of his life. Well, is it surprising that such a well-known actor was introduced to drugs at such a young age?
I think there's an aspect of it that clearly has to do with one's own morality, because it's too easy to jump on that wagon of it's a disease and my brain's been hijacked and I no longer have a choice in the matter. I think there's that element for sure, but past a certain point, you have to stand up inside yourself and change. Everybody does with any issue. Ultimately, anything else is just a really new age excuse, if you ask me.
His father, Robert Downey Sr., was a filmmaker and addict who introduced his son to marijuana and cocaine at the age of 8. Looks like he didn't have a role model dad. Although Robert Downey Jr.'s acting career took off in the late 80s, his addiction worsened, and he became known for his partying lifestyle.
Tired of expensive, low-effort script writers for your YouTube channel? Autoscripter.ai is the ultimate solution. Say goodbye to low-quality, poorly retention amateur scripts that fail to generate thousands of views for your channel. At a fraction of the cost, Autoscripter.ai helps your videos go viral. In just 3 steps, Autoscripter.ai creates a polished script tailored to your needs. Just input your title concept, select your tone and style. The intuitive interface makes editing and refining effortless, fast, smart, and trusted by hundreds of satisfied users who have already discovered the amazing tool. Start your free trial today and watch Autoscripter.ai transform your YouTube channel. Just click the link in the video description below now.
In the 1990s and early 2000s, Downey Jr. was arrested multiple times for possession of heroin, cocaine, and marijuana. He went to rehab several times but continued to struggle with addiction. Everything came crashing down for Downey Jr. when he was arrested in 2001 and was arrested and charged with felony cocaine possession. He spent several months in jail and was ordered to attend rehab. However, he continued to struggle with his addictions and lavish lifestyle and was arrested again in 2003 for drug possession. His addiction strained relationships with family and friends. It nearly ended his acting career, and he suffered from various health issues. But he turned things around for good. After his arrest in 2003, RDJ has maintained his sobriety and has become a better person overall.
But now, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions about the nature of an addiction like yours? And yours really must have had you by the throat, apparently, right?
Uh-huh.
Is it circumstantial? Is it emotional? Is it psychological? Is it environmental? What is the root of an addiction that's so powerful like that, that people are willing really to walk right to the edge of hell and look in?
Remember when you were talking about sex earlier?
Yeah.
Kind of feels good.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if sex turned really ugly and you couldn't stop, but every time, you know, that kind of thing. Does sex turn really ugly after a point? How's it going? What I would say is...
Wait a minute. I don't know. I guess I haven't...
No, I was actually making a comparison. Imagine if. I mean, the truth is, it's a combination of things. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I just, you know, I'm just really glad that nowadays it doesn't occupy my thoughts. And
right.
But I really don't know anyone who hasn't had some sort of encounter with it, whether it was a family member or whatever. And I'm just glad I'm sitting here and I wasn't part of the monologue.
Number 17. Next up, we have Johnny Depp. That's true, Johnny Depp has been struggling with alcohol and substance abuse. He has publicly discussed his experiences with addiction and has used his fame and platform to raise awareness about the importance of seeking help and support. Depp's struggles with addiction can be traced back to his early 20s. He has talked about how these addictions affected his personal and professional life. Depp, in various interviews, has shared stories about his experiences with substance abuse, including his use of alcohol, cocaine, and other drugs.
Fred wasn't the only one who had a problem with your drinking, correct?
Sir, if anyone had a problem with my drinking at any time in my life, it was me. The only person that I have ever abused in my life is myself.
These addictions even affected his relationships and marriages, including those with Winona Ryder, Kate Moss, and Vanessa Paradis. All of this is just because of drugs and alcohol. He has even admitted to showing up late or hungover on film sets, affecting his work. Depp has been in and out of rehab and recovery multiple times since 1998.
I've never taken any substance for a party. I have taken these substances over the years, on and off, to numb myself of the ghosts, the wraiths that were still with me, and from my youth. So I needed, they were everything. It was just self-medication. One of those get me out of here moments, and where you want to escape from is your own brain, your own head.
Number 16. Next, let's look at the chaotic tale of Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was once hailed as Hollywood's bad boy and was the highest paid actor on television, but he has lived a life marked by confusion and struggle. Behind the charismatic smile and captivating on-screen presence, Sheen was battling with the demons of addiction to drugs and alcohol. Charlie's career skyrocketed in the 1980s with breakout roles in Platoon and Wall Street. His raw talent and charisma made him a darling of Hollywood, but as his fame soared, so did his taste for the high life. Sheen, barely out of his teens, found himself caught up in a life of partying, with cocaine and booze flowing like champagne at his inner circle's wildest parties. As the years passed, Sheen's substance abuse escalated from recreational to reckless. His addiction consumed him, dictating every aspect of his life. He began to struggle with relationships, missing work, and engaging in erratic behavior. Things became so bad that in 1990, Sheen accidentally shot his fiancée, Kelly Preston, and subsequently checked into rehab for the first time. This marked the beginning of a cycle of recovery and relapse that would haunt him for decades. Sheen quit drinking in 2017 after breaking a promise to his daughter while he was drunk. He said he realized he needed to stop after forgetting to drive his daughter to an appointment. He was hospitalized in late 2011 with pancreatitis and was told that if he didn't stop drinking, he wouldn't see his next birthday. But now here he is, clean and sober for almost 6 years.
I know you are counting. Congratulations on your sobriety.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that was good.
Milestone.
That was good.
Number 15. Moving on to our next celebrity is none other than Brad Pitt. This handsome actor has faced a lot of battles in his life, and one that tested his strength and even his identity was with addiction. specifically alcohol and drugs, as they have been companions throughout his life. Growing up in Springfield, Missouri, Pitt's introduction to drugs began at a very early stage in life. Like many kids of his age, social drinking and experimentation with marijuana was where it all started. Things got worse when his acting career took off, and Hollywood's parties intensified his use of drugs and alcohol. He used to even drink and use drugs on movie sets and in between shootings. But that was the past, and every actor in this list has a past they are not proud of. Today, Brad Pitt has redeemed himself. He credits Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and his friend and actor Bradley Cooper with helping him find sobriety. Pitt has been sober since 2016, following his divorce from Angelina Jolie.
I was running to things to avoid tough feelings, painful feelings. I just didn't know how to deal with them, and looking for anything I found that I use for escape, to escape those kinds of, I guess, difficult feelings. I don't know how better to describe it. I mean, that can be anything. That can be drugs, booze, Netflix, snacks, anything. I don't want to, at this point, to be running from anything. I want to sit in it. I want to feel it. I want to get through the rough night. And I found in doing so, you come out the other side with a more profound understanding of yourself, a greater gratefulness for those in your life.
Number 14. Moving on, we have Spider-Man, aka Tobey Maguire. What do you think Tobey Maguire struggled with? Comment your thoughts below. During the 2000s, when he was young and was gaining popularity, the burden of fame was too much for him to handle, so he turned to drugs for help, a decision he would later regret. It was a challenging period in his life. He faced several battles with alcoholism and drugs. These struggles didn't just take a toll on him, they affected his behavior and strained his relationships. It was a difficult time both personally and professionally, leaving him in a tough spot as he tried to find his way back. Tobey's change came when he realized his addiction was starting to affect his personal and professional life. He even sought help and went to rehab in the mid-2000s. Now, Tobey has become more low-key, choosing to focus on his family and later work as a producer. He stays out of the public eye and parties and focuses more on his passion for philanthropy. Now, that's a change for good.
You are acting like a complete fucking deranged moron.
Now I'm acting like a fucking deranged moron? You keep your fucking voice down.
Don't you dare wake up Miles.
This is it. This is perfect. This is just what you want, isn't it?
Number 13. The next actor on our list is Kristen Stewart. Kristen's story with substance abuse is interesting as it was in light of her becoming famous with the Twilight series. From the previously mentioned celebrities, we know that handling fame at a very young age can be quite challenging. That's exactly what happened to Kristen too. She sought alcohol abuse and at other times even substances to deal with the pressure and the anxiety. She has been frank about the fact that she used to indulge in drinking to handle the pressure of stardom. But all of this was having a huge impact on her life. Kristen realized she needed a change after her split from Robert Pattinson. Since then, she has tried to change and has resorted to other healthier methods to handle her pressure and anxiety. Now she is addicted to her work and self-improvement. Glad she turned around things for the better.
I've actually gotten so into working out because of probably this movie. I really, I love working out now. It's fun. Yeah, and it gets easier too. When you're really out of shape, it's not fun. But then, you get used to it and you get kind of addicted to it.
Number 12. Kicking off at number 12, we have the action star Mel Gibson. For years, Mel Gibson was one of Hollywood's most sought-after leading men. He was an action star who had the box office movies like Lethal Weapon and Braveheart. But despite all this, he was a hard drinker. Mel Gibson has struggled with substance abuse, including alcohol and drugs, for most of his adult life. In 2006, Gibson was arrested for DUI. The dash footage in the car showed him being violent and uncooperative. But it didn't end there. He was arrested again in 2009 for DUI. His downward spiral continued when he left his wife of 29 years and mother to 7 children for Oksana Grigorieva, a young model. Now, what do you think happened after this? Did he become clean and restart his life, or did he continue to ruin his life? Just a few months after Grigorieva gave birth to their daughter, Gibson pled guilty to battery. Grigorieva also released a tape of Gibson spewing threats and racist comments. At this point, Gibson entered a 10-year drought in Hollywood. This gap was just too big. But this ended in 2016 when he directed the movie Hacksaw Ridge. The movie earned $158 million at the box office and 6 Oscar nominations. Although he doesn't share much about his personal life, he has mentioned that he is on the path of recovery. It's never too late to turn things around.
Don't pick a fight with a rugby team, and you can't win, and don't drink so much. My mother told me that too. She said, "Don't drink, son. It'll ruin your life." And I was like, "What does she mean by that?" When you're 20, you don't understand these things. So, I think I just would have been more patient, not rush into things. I'm really impulsive. I was so impulsive. That's a blessing in some ways, but a curse in many others. And you don't measure your words before you talk, and it just comes out stupid, And so it's I would tell myself to slow down, exercise patience, exercise the virtues, because I wasn't doing a very good job of it at the age of 20. And I think that would have saved me a lot of hardship.
Number 11. Next, we have Amy Winehouse. She was highly talented and known for her powerful voice and hit songs like Rehab. She often spoke about her battles with substance abuse, both in her music and in interviews. Despite her immense talent, her addiction led to bad relationships and public struggles. Her downward spiral became more visible as her drinking worsened, leading to erratic behavior and health issues. But everything came crashing down for this young actress in July 2011, when she died from alcohol poisoning. This marked a tragic end to a brilliant yet troubled life. Winehouse had 416 milligrams of alcohol per 100 milliliters of blood, which is more than 5 times the legal driving limit of 80 milligrams. The doctor said that the amount of alcohol in her system could have stopped her breathing and sent her into a coma. Her story remains a reminder of the impact of addiction and the need for support.
You can't have a specific level that will kill a particular individual. We're all different. People are different size. They have different medical problems. Women have livers that are only 2/3 the size of men. And, people who are short, as Amy was, have less capacity than other people. The other thing that makes a difference is whether you're in training. If you drink a lot regularly, you're more likely to get away with it. Now, Amy had stopped drinking 3 weeks prior to her death, and so that tolerance will have gone down. She may have had no more on that particular day than she'd been used to taking previously, but she'd lost the tolerance and it killed her. Amy had no vomit in her throat or in her lungs, or she didn't die of organ failure. She died of alcohol poisoning. Alcohol is a poison. It poisons the liver, it poisons the brain, it poisons the nervous system generally. It's a highly toxic drug. It is, in particular, the thing that kills more young people than anything else. People imagine that young people die of drugs. They don't. The largest number of deaths in young people is due to alcohol. What I understand is that she'd given up alcohol for a time. Now, that will reduce her tolerance. And I also understand that found by her were 2 bottles of vodka and a small bottle.
Number 10. Moving on, let us take a look at the struggles of Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore went from being one of the most beloved child actors to an alcohol and drug addict by her late teens. Her story is a little sad and shocking. Drew's father was an alcoholic, and her mother, well, that's a different case. Her mother used to take her to Hollywood parties when she was just 9, and that is how she developed an alcohol addiction by age 11. This alcohol addiction then spiraled into years of substance use issues. She really struggled with all of these, and finally, after 1 suicide attempt, 2 stints in rehab, and emancipation from her parents, Barrymore got clean with the help of musician David Crosby. Today, Drew is thriving both personally and professionally. She has established herself as a successful producer, director, and talk show host with The Drew Barrymore Show, where she often shares her journey and inspires others. She is a true inspiration for all of the alcoholics out there.
Some Valium and back up. So what's your nervous breakdown? You smoked a joint when you were 9?
Yeah.
Who gave you grass? Marijuana.
My friend's mother, actually.
And do you remember getting stoned at 9?
Oh, sure.
And was it fun?
Uh-huh.
Because you're like young anyway,
Yeah.
so what's going on in your head when you get stoned as a 9?
I was like, cool, trippy, surreal.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Not that we
Oh,
want you
like-
kids to try this at home.
It was
but-
just, you know, a more vivid way of looking at life.
Yeah. So that was okay, but then...
Pot's fine.
Yeah.
I don't worry about
I don't
pot.
worry
Hard
about
drugs, I get scared because they really do mess you up, and they're just terribly unattractive.
Yeah,
You know,
not
there's
good
nothing
for the
worse
skin.
Than, like someone with coke sweating and thinking they're really intelligent and fervorously talking
And this,
to you.
hanging out.
Yeah, with like these crusty white boogers. It's so gross.
How long did you do it for, like years or just...
No, I tried it for like a year, and then
Right.
I was like, never again can I ever touch this stuff, and I haven't.
Number 9. At number 9, we have Matthew Perry, whom we all affectionately know as Chandler from the TV show Friends. Despite his success as an actor, Perry struggled with addiction to alcohol and drugs for much of his life. Perry suffered from depression and faced significant challenges, including multiple stints in rehab as he dealt with the pressures of fame and his mental health. Even during the production and shooting of Friends, his addiction escalated, resulting in multiple trips to rehab and impacting his health and relationships. Perry was open about his struggles and sought help, often advocating for recovery and mental health awareness. But despite the challenges, Perry showed remarkable resilience. After years of battling his demons, he achieved sobriety and began to focus on his well-being. However, he tragically passed away in October 2023 at the age of 54, leaving behind a legacy of both comedic talent and a reminder of the realities of addiction.
Addiction, the big terrible thing, is far too powerful for anyone to defeat alone. But together, one day at a time, we can beat it down.
Yeah. Your disease is just outside, just doing one-arm push-ups, just waiting for you, waiting to get you alone. Because alone, you lose to the disease. And now I finally feel okay and feel like I've got some strength.
What does it mean to feel okay?
It means that I've developed some safety nets around this, you know. For some reason, it's obviously because I was on Friends, more people will listen to me. So I've got to take advantage of that. I've got to help as many people as I can.
Number 8. Let us now move on to Elizabeth Taylor. This British-American actress started her career as a child actor in the 1940s and then went on to become one of the greatest classical Hollywood actors in the 1950s. But this Hollywood actress was also battling with alcohol use disorder. Taylor battled personal demons that often overshadowed her professional achievements. She'd often spend entire days on set too intoxicated to read her lines. That's when she realized that things had gone too far. Taylor eventually entered an addiction treatment center in 1983. She was in and out of rehab for multiple years and even attended Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. She said she experienced terrible withdrawal symptoms and had to go through a lot. Although she relapsed again in 1988, she remained sober from then until her death in 2011.
You're so revealing. You just tell everything. I declare. Good. You gotta stop talking so much, Miss Taylor.
This is what your friends wanted, right?
You have just gotta stop telling everything you know.
Number 7. Next, we have Daniel Radcliffe. Yes, that's right, Harry Potter was an alcoholic. But why? Was it because Hogwarts was too much for him, or was the thought of carrying Gryffindor a huge burden? Let us find out. Daniel Radcliffe admitted to turning to alcohol to deal with his instant celebrity status. Although he didn't drink during work, he has admitted to showing up for work hungover from the previous day's enjoyment. The burden of being a child actor can be quite challenging, and drinking was Daniel's way of handling it. But he soon realized the impact of his addiction. That's why just a month after shooting the last Harry Potter movie, he quit drinking and started his recovery. Since then, he has embraced sobriety and has become an advocate for mental health awareness, using his platform to discuss the challenges he faced. Although he has not yet bounced back to Hollywood, he is leading a healthy life, free of alcohol.
I would call it a problem. It's now not a problem. I drank in search of happiness and in search of a lifestyle that I thought would bring me to happiness. It didn't, and I woke up one morning going, wow, I've drank a lot, but I'm still not happy. What's that about? And, now we're about a year and a half later, and my life has turned around immeasurably. It's a wonderful thing. And I say to anybody watching or listening to this that, it's there is a lot of pressure on young people not to drink necessarily, but to find happiness through going out and getting mashed. And that's fun, and you have a good time, and good luck to you. But if it doesn't work for you, and if you keep waking up going, I don't seem to be having nearly as good time as most of my friends, then think about it. It doesn't have to be something you do, is all I'd say to people. I think, in fact, that's one of the things that is most frustrating in a way, is the fact that there is such an expectation that we should all just be happy. And it doesn't matter if you're financially very, very well off and have and I'm incredibly grateful for that and so unbelievably lucky. But at the same time, that doesn't solve all of life's problems. There is still other stuff, and it's mainly just my own head is trying to, I'm not going crazy one day at a time. That's my mission at the moment.
Number 6. Moving on, we have the legendary musician Billy Joel. As one of the most successful musicians of his time, the pressures of stardom, along with personal challenges, led him to rely on alcohol. That's not good, is it? Joel faced significant ups and downs in his personal life, including relationships and mental health issues, which contributed to his battles with substance abuse. He openly discussed his struggles with alcohol addiction, particularly during the height of his fame in the 1970s and 1980s. The 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001 caused him to go into a deep depression, for which he used alcohol as a form of self-medication. He tried to quit drinking several times in the past, but it never stuck. But after recognizing the negative impact of his addiction, he sought help and committed to sobriety in the 2000s. Since then, he has been on a journey through recovery and has maintained his sobriety. He continues to entertain us with his music and personality even today.
Welcome to Countdown. Bill, you've obviously got a great rapport with your audience.
We like the people like another person. I don't believe in that whole rock star syndrome where you ignore the audience and you're supposed to be the artist and you just sit up here and play. I mean, it's a way for me to feel comfortable being up here, because once in a while I go, what am I doing up here? So you talk to people.
Number 5. Let's move on to Bradley Cooper. Although he has a wonderful on-screen career, his personal life is tangled with problems, and one of them is his struggle with alcohol. Although he has been sober for over a decade now, that was not always the condition. He revealed that he struggled all the way through his 20s with it.
In your late 20s, you stopped drinking.
Stopped drinking, yeah.
That's a big change.
It's a huge thing, yeah.
Do you drink now?
No.
You stopped at 30 and
29, yeah.
And 29.
Yeah.
Cooper's painkiller and alcohol addiction began to affect not only his life, but his career as well, which is what pushed him to get help. Bradley was 100% sure if he didn't get his drinking under control, it would have killed him or ruined his life forever. Cooper sought help at a rehabilitation center, where he was introduced to a 12-step recovery program. He has said that if he wasn't sober, he wouldn't be able to perform in movies like Hangover and A Star is Born. He credits Alcoholics Anonymous for helping him through his recovery journey and helping him sober up. Apart from helping himself from alcoholism and addictions, he has also helped fellow actor and friend Brad Pitt to overcome his addiction as well. Now, he leads a healthy and happy life with his family.
I mean, The Hangover, that was pretty career-changing. I was 36 when that happened. So, I was already in the game for 10 years just banging around. So I didn't get lost in fame.
But you definitely had some wild years.
Oh, in terms of like alcohol and drugs, yeah. But that had nothing to do with fame though. But I was lucky, I got sober at 29 years old. And, I've been sober for 19 years. Been very lucky.
Good for you. But you've also played serious addict.
Yeah.
I mean, look at A Star is Born.
Well, yeah, it made it easier to be able to really enter in there. And thank goodness I was at a place in my life where I was at ease with all of that. Yeah. So I could really let myself go.
There is an incredible power to what you brought to that.
I've been very lucky, Bear, with the roles I've had to play. I mean, I really have, I look back. It's been a real blessing. I hope I get to keep doing it.
Number 4. Next, let's look into Alec Baldwin. He has been open about his struggles with alcohol addiction throughout his life and career. Baldwin faced personal and professional pressures that led him to rely on alcohol and drugs as an escape from everything. He realized the need for change, and Baldwin sought help and worked towards maintaining his sobriety. He has spoken candidly about the importance of self-awareness and the ongoing nature of recovery. Through his experiences, Baldwin has aimed to shed light on the complexities of addiction and the necessity of seeking support. Today, he continues to act and produce, while also advocating for mental health awareness and the importance of confronting personal challenges.
What if you hadn't stopped drinking on February 23rd, 1985?
That's a good question. I think that I was one of the people who was lucky that it stuck, and therefore, if I didn't get it then, I would have gotten it eventually. But I know that at that time, and when I describe overdosing on drugs, which I've kept, very private for years and years and years, I think I would have gotten it eventually. But I'm glad I got it when I did, because not many people get sober when they're young. I got sober when I was just about to turn 27. And those 2 years that I lived in that white-hot period as a daily drug abuser, as a daily drinker, to my misery, boy, that was a tough time. There was really, really a lot of pain in there.
Number 3. At the third spot is none other than Zac Efron. The Baywatch star has had quite some struggles in his life. After gaining immense popularity from the High School Musical series, Zac became an alcoholic. He said he felt like there was a hole, something lacking in his life, and that's when he and alcohol became best friends. But he wasn't just an alcoholic. He used to take hard drugs like cocaine, heroin, and ecstasy. His struggles with addiction became more intense, affecting his mental health and personal relationships. Zac was such an addict that he overdosed on heroin just before entering rehab. But that's the past. Now he is back, sober and healthy. He now exercises a lot to relieve stress and keep his mind off of drinking.
I think it's been 10 years since Hairspray, 9 years since High School Musical 3. How happy are you to be back doing musicals?
It feels great, man. It feels good. This is a really neat one too. It's just different. The movie is very powerful and has a lot to say, and I think it's an important one for our generation. So I feel like it's got a big voice, and the potential for it to be heard for our generation is really massive. It feels important and it has weight, but it's also very fun and very cool, and it tells a really interesting story.
Number 2. Let us now look into the struggles of Jon Hamm. His struggles with alcohol addiction started particularly during his rise to fame as the star of Mad Men. While he enjoyed significant success in his career, Hamm faced personal challenges that led him to rely on alcohol. Jon claims to have a little in common with his signature character, the secretive Don Draper, and what was common between them? Their love for the hard stuff. His drinking escalated at times, impacting his relationships and overall well-being. After the premiere of the final season of Mad Men, Jon entered rehab, and ever since, Jon has stopped drinking and stopped taking bleak roles in movies.
Individually met with me and sort of sat me down and said, look, you're going through a hard time. It's okay. You're going to be okay. You just got to kind of get back on your feet and we'll get you going again. And it was profoundly helpful. And that's the time at which I got into therapy for the first time. My sister was like, "You need to see somebody."
And what did she say that got you to finally go?
Well, she's like, you're sleeping till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, something's not right. You need to see somebody. You're not well. And for me, it was like, I'll be fine. It's like stiff upper lip, kind of Midwestern. Like, don't worry about it. I'm fine. He's not fine. This is not fine.
Your friend said even when they knew you were struggling, you always had the brave face.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's what we're kind of taught as polite Midwesterners. Is like, don't worry about it. Don't want to overshare. Fine. But seeing the therapist at that time was profoundly helpful, because it does what it does. It gives you another perspective on something that you can't quite figure out. And she was able to really kind of, again, reorient my kind of way of thinking. And she put me on a medication that changed my brain chemistry enough to where, okay, I'm feeling a little better. I can get up and go to work. I can get up and go to school. I can do my work on time. I can self-motivate.
Number 1. At number 1, we have Carrie Fisher. Apart from being known as Princess Leia in Star Wars, she was also known for bringing awareness to drugs and alcohol addictions by opening up about her struggles with substances and recovery. She faced the pressures of a celebrity life, which contributed to her battles with substance abuse. Fisher's journey with addiction was difficult, marked by periods of recovery followed by relapses. Despite these challenges, she remained a fierce advocate for mental health awareness, using her platform to encourage conversations about addiction and mental illness. Tragically, Fisher passed away in December 2016, but her legacy continues to inspire. She is remembered not only for her iconic roles, but also for her candidness about her life's challenges.
Hi, I'm Carrie, and I'm an addict and an alcoholic. Oh, it's the wrong meeting, right? Not really, though, is it entirely?
I would not wish the kind of drug problem that I had. I would not wish manic depression on someone. No. The combination punch of drug addiction, manic depression is bad. I was in there on a psychotic manic high. I stayed awake for 5.5 days, and I was put as a result of that on Ativan. And I got it. That's a benzodiazepine, and that's a very bad addiction. And I was on that drug for 1.5 years under a doctor's care. To get off of that, I had to go into rehab again. I have a daughter now, and I'm not real interested in exposing her to either one of these illnesses.
What would you even have told your younger self, you know, if you could go back?
You know, I don't think I could have told my younger self, and you know, it's sort of like what I know best. Get help. I mean, really, there's not much, you know, learn to say the words, I don't know, mean them.
And that concludes our look at the 20 alcoholic Hollywood stars who are now in their 90s. From their once glamorous lives to the challenges they face today, these stories are certainly thought-provoking. Before we wrap up, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which stories resonate with you the most? Are there any other celebrities or moments related to this topic that you think we should cover? If you found this video insightful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.